Welcome back to Global Lens. The U.S. government has shut down for the first time in nearly 7 years. This after the Senate failed to pass a bill to extend federal funding by 7 weeks. What does this mean for the American economy? Take a look at this report.
The U.S. government shut down much of its operations on Wednesday as deep partisan divisions prevented Congress and the White House from reaching a funding deal. That sets off what could be a long, grueling standoff that could lead to the loss of thousands of federal jobs. The 15th government shutdown since 1981 commenced hours after the Senate rejected a short-term spending measure that would have kept government operations afloat through November 21st. Democrats opposed the legislation due to Republicans' refusal to attach an extension of health benefits for millions of Americans that are due to expire at the end of the year. Republicans say the issue must be addressed separately. There was no clear path out of the impasse, which agencies warned would halt the release of a closely watched September employment report, slow air travel, suspend scientific research, and withhold pay from U.S. troops. It will also lead to the furlough of 750,000 federal workers at a daily cost of $400 million. Democrats are under pressure from their frustrated supporters to score a rare victory ahead of the 2026 midterm elections that will determine control of Congress for the final 2 years of Trump's term. The healthcare push has given them a chance to unite behind an issue that resonates with voters. Along with the extended health subsidies, Democrats have also sought to ensure that Trump will not be able to undo those changes if they are signed into law.
I don't know, we'll probably have a shutdown.
Trump has refused to spend billions of dollars approved by Congress, prompting some Democrats to question why they should vote for any spending legislation at all. Independent analysts warn the shutdown could last longer than the budget-related closures of the past. Trump and White House officials have threatened to punish Democrats with cuts to government programs and the federal payroll. Last week, Trump's budget director threatened permanent layoffs in the event of a shutdown.
And joining us now to discuss this is Raymond Vickery, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce and Senior Associate at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Mr. Vickery, thank you very much for joining us. Now, this has happened at least 21 times in U.S. history, but how is this government shutdown different from the others?
Well, thanks very much for having me, Parks. I think that this one is different because while the immediate issue is one of Medicaid and Affordable Care Act reimbursement, the larger question here is the breakdown in the constitutional form of government, which we've had in the United States, which is one of checks and balances and rule of law. In the past, there has been a dispute which could be resolved. The dispute this time really is much larger than just the immediate issues. It has to do with the role of Congress. Congress has been ineffective in providing any check upon President Trump and also with the courts. So this is sort of a last-ditch effort by the Democrats to be able to try to rein in the executive and go back to what is ordinary constitutional approach. Of course, underlying all of this is the politics of what will happen at the midterms, and unless there is rising up, if you will, of the Democrats to elect Democrats to the House of Representatives, this constitutional crisis which we are facing in the United States will go on. I might add that I was in office when a government shutdown took place in the 1990s. We were to go to India with the Secretary of Commerce, Ron Brown. Ron called me in and said, should we go? I said, well, maybe we ought to stay here since your department is shut down and we can go later. We were not able to go later because Ron Brown was killed in an airplane accident after that. And that's just indicative of the kind of lost opportunity, the hardship which is endeavored in this kind of shutdown. So this one is different, but the effects are immediate and very serious.
How long could this go on? In the past, we've seen government shutdowns continuing for a day, sometimes maybe longer.
I believe that this one will go on for more than a day because of the constitutional issue and the need really for the politicians on both sides to assess who's getting the blame for it and figuring out what their strategy is to go forward. It will not be successful. It will not go on for months at a time. But will be a bit longer than a day. But the real question here is what the effect will be on the midterms, which are coming up just next year, and that's what both sides are looking at. And depending upon their assessment, that'll have an effect on how immediate we resolve the situation.
Right. What is the path forward, and what's going to be the immediate impact on government offices, the disbursement of salaries of government employees, and functioning of embassies, including the U.S. Embassy? For example, the U.S. Embassy in Delhi has put out a tweet saying that their X handle will not be functional till the time this government shutdown continues.
Well, the general guidance is that anything's necessary for the preservation of life, health, and for the security of property, those people can continue to work. And the so-called non-essentials, which really is in the eye of the beholder in many cases, will not be there. There will be delays and shutdowns in regard to processing of visas. Of course, that's in accordance with what President Trump wants to do. And what he's going to do is to try to use this shutdown as a reason to expand the delay or shutdown, the elimination of government services that he does not like. He can't, by law, stop people from getting Social Security payments. He can't stop things that are essential services, such as air traffic control, policing, and so forth. But this all is of a pattern with President Trump, as you may have observed. Yesterday, he was talking about using troops in the major cities of the United States in order to do what he says is necessary in regard to crime. And of course, this bypasses police. And so he's willing to use this to try to shut down anything that he doesn't want, to fire people. And it remains to be seen whether or not the courts will intervene on a short-term basis. But as I said earlier, the major question is the political effect that it has on the midterms and whether it reins in the executive and returns to a constitutional path.
All right. Thank you very much, Raymond Vickery, for joining us with that very comprehensive explanation of what this means for the U.S. economy and U.S. missions worldwide. Let's move on.